Mr. President, a number of my colleagues will be coming to the floor in just a while to talk about the crisis that is going on in the island territory of Puerto Rico. Remember, Puerto Rico is a territory. Its citizens are U.S. citizens, and we often forget that, particularly as they are now facing economic challenges that are growing worse by the day. And although we just had an opportunity in the Omnibus Appropriations Bill to address Puerto Rico's fiscal crisis, it appears that Congress is going to go home without having done the bare minimum for Puerto Rico. In the meantime, Puerto Rico is going to start the new year on the verge of default as the governor faces the troubling choice of whether paying for essential public services, that he does that, or that he makes $1 billion debt payment to Wall Street creditors. Public services, health, fire, police, water, etc., versus paying the bonds that are coming due. Now, many of us have been urging our colleagues for months, Senator Durbin, Senator Cantwell, we've been at this, Senator Schumer, urging our colleagues to meaningfully address this fiscal crisis by providing Puerto Rico with the same debt restructuring authority that is available to any other state under Chapter 9 of the Bankruptcy Code. This is the authority that Puerto Rico had until it was taken away by Congress without any explanation 30 years ago. And so that's why I have joined Senator Cantwell, who is here, Schumer, Blumenthal, in introducing legislation that would allow Puerto Rico's municipalities and public corporations to restructure its debt under the watchful eye of a federal bankruptcy judge. Now, this is not a bailout. Providing Puerto Rico with an opportunity to orderly manage its debt cost the federal government nothing, and it orderly manage its debt as we do for every state under Chapter 9 of the bankruptcy laws. And it also, if we would do that, prevents having a drawn-out battle with bondholders following a potential default. Yet, nowhere in the omnibus bill that we put a lot of other stuff, nowhere in the omnibus appropriations bill is there anything to give Puerto Rico the legitimate, orderly process of Chapter 9 of bankruptcy. Now, there are a few provisions to help Puerto Rico's hospitals, but even they don't go far enough. It deeply troubles me that we will celebrate the holidays knowing full well that there's so much more that the Congress could have done. And I'd like to put this in perspective. Just a few weeks ago, we met with a group of Floridians who were here for the National Day of Action for Puerto Rico. What they described and what this senator has seen in a visit with Puerto Rico and the governor in San Juan a month ago, what they described is a humanitarian crisis due to the crushing government debt, a failing economy, and a growing poverty. And you know what's the result? Thousands of Puerto Ricans, U.S. citizens, are coming to my state. They are certainly welcome, but these are often the very talented, educated people that are so desperately needed for the well-being of the population on the island. Some that come are fortunate to move in with relatives. Others are living in motels. Others are even living out of their cars. A lot of them come to Central Florida, to the metro Orlando area, where there is a huge Puerto Rican population. And what we see and the discrepancy and the economic despair is absolutely heartbreaking. What is happening on the island, how in the world can we fail our fellow Americans like this? Notice who have been the most courageous in the military, often the soldiers that are Puerto Rican. So these Americans have contributed to the diverse fabric of our country, and they've proudly served in so many federal responsibilities, including our military. We should be doing all that we can to provide them with the tools it needs, the financial tools it needs to emerge from its current economic challenges. And debt restructuring authority is one of the things. And I want to urge our colleagues, since we didn't get it into the omnibus, in the spirit of our patriotic unity to help each other, and that unity that binds all Americans to come together and help Puerto Rico at this difficult time. I see my colleague from the state of Washington here. I appreciate the leadership that she has taken. My state is one of the ones that's most affected, and her state is not as affected, and yet the senator from Washington has stepped up and done this because she knows it's the right thing to do.